During ancient times, a simple piece of cloth decided who lived, who fought, and who followed. But why did humans started giving importance to a simple piece of cloth? The history of modern flags goes way back. Before flags were invented, the ancient civilizations needed a way to identify leaders and armies from a distance. During battles, armor made it nearly impossible to recognize individual soldiers. Dust, smoke, and noise turned battlefields into chaos. To solve this problem, armies began carrying standards, symbols mounted on poles. Some were decorated with carved animals, metal emblems, feathers, or bundles of horsehair rather than cloth. Ancient Egypt, Assyria, Persia, China, and Rome all developed their own versions of military standards. They weren't flags in the modern sense, but they served the same essential purpose. They told people where to gather and whom to follow. As weaving techniques improved, cloth gradually replaced many rigid standards. Fabric was lighter, easier to carry, and far more visible because it fluttered in the wind. What had started as a practical battlefield tool became something even more powerful, a moving symbol that could be recognized from great distances. Soldiers rallied around it, commanders directed troops with it, and losing it during battle became a source of humiliation. Capturing an enemy's flag wasn't just stealing cloth, it was a public declaration that their army had been defeated. Flags soon spread beyond the battlefield. As trade expanded across rivers, seas, and oceans, merchants faced a new challenge: identification. Ships approaching a harbor needed a quick way to show where they came from and whether they arrived peacefully. Different kingdoms and trading companies adopted distinctive flags so they could be recognized from miles away. This simple system reduced confusion, encouraged commerce, and made communication possible even when sailors spoke different languages. A piece of colored cloth had become an international language, yet the same invention that built trust could also spread fear. Throughout history, flags became powerful psychological tools. Seeing your own banner standing tall could inspire courage, while watching the enemy's colors advance across a battlefield could break morale before a single weapon was raised. Leaders understood this emotional power and carefully designed symbols to represent strength, religion, royalty, or military dominance. A flag no longer simply identified a group, it influenced how people felt about that group. During the Middle Ages, flags evolved alongside coats of arms and heraldry. Knights carried colorful banners displaying unique family symbols, allowing allies to recognize one another in combat. Kingdoms developed royal standards, cities created their own banners, and religious groups marched beneath sacred symbols. Flags became deeply connected to identity. They represented loyalty not only to rulers but also to families, beliefs, and communities. The age of exploration transformed flags once again. European powers sailed across the globe carrying their banners into unfamiliar lands. Planting a flag became a symbolic act of claiming territory, often without the consent of the people already living there. To explorers and empires, the flag represented discovery, authority, and expansion. To many indigenous communities, however, that very same flag marked the beginning of conquest, colonization, and the loss of independence. The meaning of a flag depended entirely on which side of history you stood. As centuries passed, the idea of the nation-state grew stronger. Following revolutions in countries such as the United States and France, flags increasingly came to represent entire populations instead of individual monarchs. National flags united millions of strangers under a shared identity. They appeared in schools, public ceremonies, military uniforms, and celebrations. But this growing emotional attachment also had a darker side. Because flags came to represent identity itself, they could intensify division between nations and groups. Throughout history, governments and political movements have used flags to unite people behind noble causes, but also to justify wars, exclusion, and extreme nationalism. The same symbol capable of bringing millions together could also deepen the line separating us from them. In the modern world, flags serve countless peaceful purposes. New flags continue to emerge as communities, movements, and even scientific missions search for symbols that express shared values. At the same time, debates over flags remain surprisingly emotional because they represent history, memory, identity, and belonging all at once. Perhaps that is what makes flags so remarkable. Physically, they are nothing more than colored fabric moving in the wind, yet humans have given them extraordinary meaning. They have inspired acts of courage, unity, exploration, and liberation. They have also been carried into conquest, conflict, and division. Their power has never come from the cloth itself. It has always come from the people who believed in what it represented. The next time you see a flag waving in the wind, remember, you're not just looking at fabric. You're looking at thousands of years of human hope, pride, conflict, and identity stitched into a single symbol.